Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to your Divine Feminine afternoon reading. It's coming a little bit earlier than what I probably anticipated, even though I did say it was only going to be a few hours away. Homeschooling didn't go quite to plan today, so when it doesn't go to plan, you just go with it and change the plans. No good fighting against it. So here we are. Welcome into the Divine Feminine reading. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Rebecca. How are we? I didn't even realise. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, my darling. Let me see if I can get a bit more light here, but without the glare. See, I don't like it when it glares on my glasses. I'm not going to be able to get away with that, am I? Maybe if I just... so that's about as much as I'm going to be able to do. It's terrible lighting, isn't it? I really need to sort out this lighting malarkey. How are we all? I've got flipping hair everywhere. Look at this. What is going on here? I know. Thank you, Rebecca. I've had my new glasses come in. Look. Do you not think they're very what's it called? Pussy galore type glasses. What are they? What's that Batman character, the female? Catwoman. Oh. Yeah, look at this. Are you ready? I've got my special ones here. I can't even see at all now. I've taken them off because the lenses are a lot stronger than my last pair. What about those? I feel like singing Apollo Creed and Rocky when I wear these ones. Look at these ones. My American glasses. I bought these for y'all. Hey! They come after my morning reading today. I had 2 pairs. My son says, these ones look like I'm ready to go racing. Aren't they cool? Aren't they cool? And these ones, he said, they look like a flag. I thought, yes. We don't do red flags. We only do the go flag round here. So, yes. No more red flags for us, darlings. I can see they're a bit stronger than my last pair. So I'm hoping that now that I'm a bit further away from the screen, I'll be able to see more. Good morning, Tara. How are you, my darling? Welcome in. So, yesterday we did the Divine Masculine section of the reading about the part of the woman or the feminine within us that accepted part of the masculine energy as her own due to the shadow work that needed to be done and issues from the past. Great to hear. So today is kind of more about touching into, oh, so am I. That's why I've got these ones. It's all systems go. Happy and healing in the right direction this time. So today we're gonna attain to what the feminine needs to do. Thank you, Rebecca. So the feminine wounded energy is the unnurturing side of life that we had. There is instances maybe in life where you've unappreciated, that's not even a word, unappreciated being in the feminine energy, and it can create a kind of wounding that becomes and makes you codependent. So it's kind of like, did you ever have a mum or a grown-up figure around you that was emotionally unavailable and made you believe that you had oh dear, hope you're feeling better, the tigress. Almost your emotions weren't worthy. So you either lock them up or become oversensitive to everything that goes on. I.e., for instance, you might have had a mum who had a hard life. So when mums have hard lives, they tend to put a shield up. But it shows their female children generally that their emotions are invalid and that they're not worthy of anything like that. So things along the line of making you feel guilty for being born would be one of the main ones. So things like, if I hadn't had you, do you know the kind of life I could have had? Or, you know, I'm going to tell you a little story here. My mum had met one of my stepfathers. I must have been about 8 or 9. Yes. Well, I met this guy. He was a lovely, don't get me wrong, it was lovely. I didn't have an issue. But I'd seen my mum get her, a couple of the fathers beforehand to my other brothers and sisters. They'd been quite abusive towards me, being the elder child. I seen more. I took on more than probably my little brothers. That's the kind of thing, exactly, Cynthia. That's the kind of thing. And we was play fine one day, me and my new stepfather. It was only my mum's boyfriend at the time. And he got a bit rough in play. Now, me, I've got disabilities, so I've always had like aching bones and stuff like that. It wasn't really something that my mum attained to. It was just get over it. There's no sympathy. There was no empathy. And I got hurt during play, and I remember saying something along the lines of, "You're no different to all the other men. All you're going to do is come in and hurt us or hurt me." To which he kind of felt uncomfortable, which you would do as a man. And now looking back in the right perspective, he thought, you know what, I need to step back a little bit. Maybe I've come in too harsh, too strong. My mom kind of one in, one out at that point in time, how it seemed to me. We'd had a bit of a separation time, so we'd had some time to spend together, me and my mum. And during the moments when she didn't have a man around, we were seen to be very connected. We'd do more things. We'd go for walks together. Thank you, Maya. We had that one moment, a few months, where she was really connected to us, and I'd never ever had that before. So then this guy come along, and this role playing fight kind of thing happened, and I got hurt. So when I kind of blurted out this, "You're not going to be the same as all the other guys," he left. My mom was in bits, absolutely in bits. And she was on the phone to my nan, and my nan turned around and says, no, she turned around to my nan and she said, "I'm destined to be on my own with these 4 fucking kids. I'm never going to find anybody who's going to want me with these." And it made me feel absolutely awful. Like, I got hurt by a man physically. I felt abandoned because the attention was put onto him after me having my mum's attention for a while. And I felt guilt. Like, I'd never felt this guilt and remorse and shame and that I never felt before. So I took myself off, walked up to his house because I knew where he lived. And I apologised. And he looked at me and he said, "You don't need to apologise. You don't need to apologise for the pain you've been through and for believing that I've come in as this strange man and you don't know any different to me than to anybody else. But it's not your place to apologise." And I said, "But my mum's on the phone to my gran. My gran was like my mum when I was growing up. She was the one who I never wanted to let down. I always had this feeling that I was always letting somebody down. I kind of resorted to the fact that I was never going to be the apple of my mum's eye or anything along those lines. And I'd always been used to being disappointing my mum. It was just kind of, I didn't attain to try and appease her anymore. I did what I knew I had to do, and I did it with resentment because I didn't things, whereas I was doing so much Whereas my gran, she appreciated everything. I remember being 11 and she told me that she loved me for the very first time, and hearing it, and I broke down in tears because I'd never heard it before, very spoken to me. And it's kind of like, so anybody who ever told me that they loved me, I would allow them to hurt me, because the fact you told me you love me made it okay. And it kind of allowed me to believe the full sense of what love was. It had to be, as long as the words were coming out and you was there and you didn't abandon me, it didn't have to really matter what you do me, as long as you told me that you love me and as long as you didn't leave. I seen abandonment, somebody leave. As I've grown up and through this journey, I've understood that sometimes a man can love you enough and he knows he's not good for you. And the most loving act you can do is to leave somebody you love, because you know you cannot give them the love that they deserve. So bearing in mind now, when you start thinking about your divine masculine, why did he leave me? Why? Okay, so they are codependent upon a female, because usually they have those kind of tendencies due to their upbringing. So they're very needy upon a woman. They look at you and they know either one, their actions are going to impact you so devastatingly that they don't want to hurt you, because the pain of watching you be hurt by their actions when they don't know how to change their actions deeply affects them to such a degree. Yeah, I went through that, Rebecca, as well. I was in adulthood as well, because I didn't know how to put the boundaries up. So I'm not going to say what that was, Rebecca, but I went through that. So it kind of got to the point where love became a very sadistic thing in my world. But because I was always going from the victim mentality, because from a young age, I had that victim mentality. And that was part of it. I remember going in for a big opera, and just before we left, I was told, if you're faking this, then you need to be, held accountable, because I don't want you to shame me. So anytime I felt pain, I was scared to say I was hurting. I was scared to say, this hurts, I'm not feeling right, because one, you're being either emotionally blackmailing by making a man feel, by saying your truth, you're emotionally blackmailing him, so Bessie, just shut your mouth. Or I'm in pain, I hurt, I need some affection, or I need some help or some guidance, I need something. And I was told that it's manipulating. So those kind of parts of myself I shut down. So when a man came in and showed any kind of, even a word, oh, are you okay? He'd be like, whoa, he's really, he's interested, he's caring. No, he's having a flippant word of, are you okay? So the actions didn't have to actually match the words, which allowed me to believe words, but I'd never actually seen the actions. The only action I'd ever seen was a man leave, and I'd perceived that to be wrong. Oh, well, your dad doesn't love you because he's left. I'm still here. I love you. So if I'm here, then obviously I love you, which gave me a warped sense of, well, if somebody's staying, they love me, even if it's abusive, even if it's wrong, even if it's unemotional, even if it's no good for your soul. The fact you're still there is a sign that you're doing the right thing, and I should just be grateful that you're still there. So I think this is where the need of abandoning. Okay, thank you, Debbie. You're a hot on that trot. So then you get to the point where, as long as any man stays, they're okay, and you put up with so much bullshit. So then with this journey with the divine masculine now, We have had to learn that there's elements and understanding to love. I understand how much my divine masculine loves me, because I think he's finally seen how warm and sensitive my love is, to the degree that he cannot be that man. He can't physically say to me, we are over. He cannot contact me, hence the reason why he's ghosted. Because I've learnt my boundaries. He's always knew how much I was worth, but I just allowed him to treat me that way. The second I put those boundaries in place and started saying, look, I need this from you, I need this from you, this is what I want from you, and understood that these are my basic boundaries, like that line. Nothing below that I will accept. Anything above, I'm grateful for, and we can work on. And I'm worthy of that now. The best thing he could have done was walk away. It was done from a selfless, loving point of view. The same way, it's the same selfless love that you have to have for yourself, to say, this, I know this is what I want. And just because you keep coming back doesn't mean that it's okay anymore. So if you need to leave because I know you can't give me the life, even though the love is there, but you can't open up those portals within you, which is your business, because you have your womb, a child, the same way I do. I've learned and understood mine to the point now where I can stand up and be vulnerable and say, look, I don't want to walk away from this connection, but I understand that to be able to have it, I have to have this, 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 and this. Your divine masculine looks and says, I love you with everything, and I know deep down with everything in me, I love you, but I can't give you that. They then leave and most likely go to another feminine. And I'm not lying, that's what they do. Because most of these men need to feel as though they're looked after. Why? Because of the divine masculine side that we was looking up to yesterday. What we said yesterday. They're very of need of that woman. They've become reliant upon it because their mothers and past have given them the understanding that the foundation to any relationship is that a woman attains to a man's every single need, and he doesn't have to do it in return. Why? Because he's there. Well, I'm here, aren't I? The way they love the same. So if you look at that mirror in there, the divine masculine will say, well, I don't need to give you those messages. I don't need to reply to you all the time. It doesn't matter if I ghost you for a week or two, what I'm going to do. Why? Because I'm here. The same way that we believed, or we was taught as children, well, your daddy left so he didn't love you. I love you and I'm here, but you've mistreated me, but I'm here. The divine masculine is exactly the same. So by you changing your boundaries and understanding why you have put up with this for so long, you can understand that they are now in the same element of learning those lessons. And by you setting the boundaries one by one, they will then in turn learn that the kind of love that they receive from home, and the same way I had to learn, wasn't the healthiest path towards love that it was. Just because you're there doesn't mean it's healthy. Some of the most unhealthiest relationships have lasted years and years because people just don't like to walk away. So this reading, I think, is going to be more focused towards helping us emotionally open up. Yesterday I had it for the divine masculine side of us. Both has to open up and understand that the guilt that was laid upon us for needing love doesn't have to be there anymore. And also understanding that walking away from the love of your life is loving them and loving you more than ever. I understand that every time I used to say, look, I feel as though you're pulling away from me, you're feeling unemotionally available to me. Why don't you message me more? It's kind of like I'm knocking him, and he felt self-deprivated against my words. He felt as though I was attacking him by asking what I needed, because he was never allowed to ask for what he needed, because the person that showed them what love was, we was here. They might not have been emotionally available, but we're here. We might not have been able to be emotionally open, but we're here. So when they are there, they don't understand and they think, oh, look, I'm here. I haven't run away. I haven't done anything. And when I am here, you just moan at me. I might as well not be here. And then they run, and then their heart and their love thinks, I need them, I need them, I need them. They come back. It's that polarity again. But until you learn and understand why this keeps happening, it will just the cycle will keep going. Now we're at the point where the last part of this cycle has to be really learned, understood. We did the divine masculine side yesterday, so today we're doing the divine feminine. I did about a 20-minute talk yesterday. There we go. There we go. And that's the thing, you see. It creates a catalogue of issues that are followed. And because we have the same kind of things, we mirror the kind of lifestyle. And we have to then learn the difference. Because when we learn, we show them what real love actually is. And I never thought the real love and way a man shows you how to really love you is by leaving you. I understood now the best thing that my dad ever did to me, because he was a druggie and because he wasn't able to be a father, the best thing that he could have done to show me love was to not be there. Rather than the mindset that I had for years of, if he loved me, he would have been there. So in that respect, when you think about it like that, I would have rather had a love, even if it was toxic, than him not be there. Now I understand. The more he loves me and the more I don't see him is for the simple reason he cannot give me what he knows I deserve. And he loves me enough to stand away and stay away until the time when he can fix, heal, and maybe come home. Maybe you never will. But I know that by now staying away, because it's the longest that this has ever, the way this has happened this time, it's never happened like this before. And I understand the devotion of love, and the connection is so deep. He could see I really wasn't happy, and they would rather walk away, even though this is what they want, to go and get something they don't necessarily want, because they understand your happiness means more to them than their happiness. The same way we used to when we was with them. So now I've put my boundaries in place. He understands that, and he would rather walk away than give me a half-hearted love. Whereas before, I used to stay, because when I stayed, he got all his happiness and all his needs attended to, and I didn't. And I was willing to do that. Why? Because I loved him more than I loved myself. And now the tables have turned. I would have stayed no matter what, because I loved him. And now, because he loves me, if he's not right, he will stay away. So the polarities have completely changed. But the magnetism between the two means I understand this journey so deeply now that when I heal, if he wants me and my love, and we've never been able to separate in 12 years, doesn't matter where he's gone, who he's been with, there's always been times when he always comes back. We've had that magnetism. That's what the twin flame magnets are all about. I know he will show back up again. Will he show back up in a more healed form, an understanding form? Who knows? But I know the day that he comes back into my life, he will be the same energetic match to me, because we energetically matched and aligned the first time with those healed wounds that needed healing 12 years down the line. I'm now ready to accept that new love into my life, be it him or anybody else, but it has to come on the terms of boundaries. It has to come on the terms of a healthy existence and of a coexistence, of speaking these things, of understanding these things, of knowing where I've changed the course of my path to move forward than what I used to have in the past. The same as them. They are learning the same lessons, just from the different angle and from a place now that I can't see. I don't know what's going on. I don't see what's going on. All I literally had a message, good night, I love you, and I've not heard of him since. We spoke every day, and they just went, disappeared, gone. I understand that we'd had a conversation earlier on in the day where I'd made it quite clear what I needed, and those boundaries had to be put into place. And I think he really felt that if I can't give her what I know she deserves, it's best I just don't contact her, but I can't break it off. And that's the thing, you see. So that's the divine feminine side of things. So whatever the reading comes out today, I think it's going to help us to understand that sometimes people do leave, and we have to leave those we love just the same, because women find it very hard, don't they? So a lot of women get the backlash of, I'm not doing right in life and I've had to walk away from my children. I understand that I cannot love them correctly. And I know there's a Bible verse where there was two people fighting over one child, and then you have to decide, well, who loves the child more? The child that holds and fights. That's the old way of doing things, isn't it? A mother stays and she never gives up, and she doesn't give up her children, and that's the way of doing it. And the child see the pain, they see it and they feel it. Or is it the one who loves them that lets it go and says, I love you enough not to inflict the pain of the battle that you're about to face by me staying? And they leave. To me, that's a selfless love. And I know many parents who have had to walk away from abusive relationships and leave the children behind, or mental health issues, or just life circumstances, being women born in an era and in a society that believes that women should never walk away from their children. How painful that can be. But when you understand that you love your children more than anything in this world and you never want to hurt them, the most giving sign of love is to not let them see that hurt, that pain. And if that means you have to leave them, that is a sacrifice of love beyond all belief systems. It's in the Bible. I'm not a Bible reader. I'm not a religious person, but I understand that story is in the Bible. And I've seen many women who've had to face the demons of living a life without their children, because at such point they were so broken or hurt, the best thing they could have done was to walk away from their children, in a society where that makes you believe that when you have children, you're trained to them because you're a woman, and it's so free and easy for a man to walk away. You can love your babies, exactly. And you know, the people who love them more are willing to walk away to allow them to have a better life. So if you think about it on that terms, the divine masculine, if he walks away from you knowing that he can't love you correctly, they would rather let you go to find that love from somebody else, because they know no matter how they love you that much, they know you do not deserve to go through the pain that they are going to put you through. Because, thank you, Heath, because they are also experiencing that pain in their life. And as much as they want to hold on to you, they know it's selfish. They know they cannot see that pain in your eyes and in the way that you speak. And they cannot give you everything they know you deserve. So they would rather lose the love of their life than hurt the love of their life. And when you see it from that side, you see how selfless that this connection can be. Okay, so we're half an hour in. Exactly. It does take years, and some people will never have the ability to make peace with their parents, because, to be fair, a lot of people, especially on the twin flame journey, other than the new generation that have come in, are usually in their, late 30s, 40s or 50s. And parents are such of a stubborn age where they don't understand the emotions and feelings, and the split diversity can affect the next generation. And those the forgiveness is never been able to given face to face, but you can forgive somebody energetically, because all forgiveness does is free you of the burden of the shame and the guilt and the pain that was inflicted upon you. And this is when people say, I need closure to a relationship. No, darling, you just want that last conversation. If you need closure, you can give yourself closure. If you want acceptance, you can give yourself acceptance. If you want forgiveness, you don't need to tell somebody else you forgive them for what they've done, or why you understand what they've done, because that is what it's about. It's about giving it to yourself. And loving yourself enough to let go is the biggest form of love, of self-love. And I think a lot of feminines, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of men out there that are feeling the same wounded energy, the wounded feminine within them. Mum is working. Thank you. Shut the door properly. So that can transpire into generations, and you have to respect that and see it. So as soon as you own that, sometimes people walk away for the best that is for you. then you can value and appreciate how much they actually love you. Even if it's not shown. Because sometimes men aren't able to show, sometimes women aren't able to show the amount of love that they have. Especially when you're raised in an era or from people in a cycle that don't understand. Oh, look, Heath, look. Here's my other glasses. For all my American followers out there, paying homage to you, my dears. What do you think? Look, how fantastic. Right. Okay, let's get on with this reading. Let's get on. Let's get on. Okay, first card. The inspiration. I know that, aren't they amazing? So cheap as well. Oh, and me. I was born in the wrong era. I was born in the wrong era. I got off eBay. I had my prescriptions checked and I've just bought a couple. Exactly. Exactly, Rosie. And it's only sometimes when people explain it in the way that I understand it and they say them that you can understand it. Thank you. So as soon as you realise that, then you can drop the guilt and the pain attached to that mother wound and that feminine wound that is within you. And the abandonment of that, which is why you feel abandoned when somebody you love leaves. Because if you think about it in another way, if you use the hangman situation and see it from the other perspective, you realise it's a very positive thing they've done for you. They gave opportunity. Imagine if their life, if you'd have stayed with them and they were on drugs and they didn't know how to feed you, they couldn't look after you, you wasn't getting cleaned very regularly. And by leaving, you had food, you had a stability. You might not have had mom's love, but you had stability, you had a chance to make your way in life, get educated or do whatever it is. Well, I'll have to see if I can get some. I'll have a look and see if I can get some. I'll have a look, see if I can get some Canadian glasses. Let me have a look. I'll end up with a whole array of them, won't I? I'll have a wall full of glasses for all the nations of people that I read for. Yeah, it'll be amazing, won't it? No, not thinking about it isn't a healthy way, because it means all you've done is locked it up in a box. And sometimes then someone will come along and it will trigger that reaction to be opened up out that box. And then you're faced back to square one again. Just at the point where you think you've got over something, you're about to upgrade to your next level, something will come in and trigger that and then drag you back in. When it shows it's time to open that Pandora's box. And when you open the box, then you free yourself from the guilt, the pain and the attachment that is connected to that pain. And once it's gone, that box then gets shifted out of your head, out of your consciousness, out of your psyche, and put away into a different section so it doesn't overfog. You don't get the mind boggledness. You don't get the mental attachment that is connected to it. That's very unhealthy. That creates depression, anxiety, clinginess, neediness, abandonment issues that show up in every single relationship, be it friends, be it family, be it lovers. If you don't listen to those past bits that show up, they will show up again, but in a bigger form, until one day it explodes and you have to face it. Putting things away into a box and not thinking about them isn't doing you any justice. It triggers back, get shown to you and brought to you to trigger those things. Okay. Yeah, a lot of us do. A lot of us do have abandonment issues. I've kind of learnt to deal with my abandonment issue only because of learning the diversity of what is in the relationship now. And when you're talking about things, it's like that. It's because it's been brought to your attention. Hence the reason why we're going through this now, because the masculine has gone through what we spoke about yesterday. And then the feminine has to decide where she's going as well. Okay, are you ready? The overall energy for the female reading today is feelings. After everything we've just said, your feelings are valid, but the feelings of your divine partner are also valid. And how you perceive one feeling may not be how they perceive it. We feel, they leave, they don't love us. They feel, I love you enough not to hurt you, so I'm leaving. Feelings. Seeing it from both angles allows you to understand both sides. Support, look at this, the first one. And the way that we get through this is by finding a support network, by finding your tribe, by finding those people who have been brought up in kind of emotional valley, in the same ocean that you was born into. By reaching out to those people who understand your journey, you allow yourself to gain the support of fellow people who understand that you're on the same wavelength, you're connected to the same tuning station. Turning away. There we go. See, it all starts playing out. It all starts playing out. Would you like to see the card? Shall I put my other phone holder on so we can all see the cards as I'm dealing them, so you can look at the cards rather than looking at me? I know yesterday that went down a bit of a treat. I think people enjoy being able to see the cards. And now that I've got more room, I can kind of give you a bit of a better direction of what's going on. I'm just trying to think of which way. So if I put it there, then let's see if this, is it going to work from there? Probably not. No, probably need to do it from this angle, don't I? Yeah, okay. Let's see then. Let me just make sure I don't kind of turn it off. Is that going to work? There we go. There we go. Okay, let's see. Feelings is the first card. Okay, let's see. Now we can turn this so we can get more of a light on this show. It's not going to reflect off my glasses, is it? Okay, we're using the Nordic deck as we did yesterday. 1313. You like that view? Once I've done my little talking malarkey. See, this is why I need two cameras. I need to be able to find some way of being able to do it on a more regular basis like this. I might need to move that back a bit because I don't want it to fall off halfway through the reading, which is what I have a feeling it may do. Ah, see, that's it. That's when you realise then. You realise, actually, you know what? Sometimes parents aren't the best. And the best thing you can do for a child is to walk away so they have the best chance in life. It's the same as a puppy. If a puppy isn't been treated right, good morning, Casey. If a puppy isn't being treated right, is it safe? Is it better for the owner to keep the puppy knowing they can't feed it properly, they can't walk it? Or is it more healthier and is it more loving to give that puppy away, no matter how much you love it, to somebody who can feed it, can afford to look after it, can pay the vet bills, and can give it the love and the attention that it needs regardless? So there we go. Oh, thank you, Casey. We've been here about 40 minutes, but we've been doing a kind of a talk. Same as we did yesterday, addressing the feminine and masculine energy. Today we've touched on the feminine wounds. Yesterday we touched on the masculine wounds. Okay. What do we need to know regarding the energy that we've been discussing, or that is around these wounds? What do we need to do on our soul path, our soul journey? Messages for our soul journey. Messages for our soul journey. Understanding with the King of Cups. Finally understanding. The energy of the card before is the Knight of Cups, that in and out energy. Understanding the benefits of being through that energy to now get to the understanding of the King of Cups energy. If somebody was ever in and out of your life, you've now understood the step forward, and the soul journey for you is to understand. Yes. Okay, I'm doing a reading, so I'll deal with him in a minute. My dog thinks he's a Labrador. door again. Okay, we'll shut the bathroom door so we can't get to it. This is understanding. Which means that you're emotionally available. Once you understand that. Oh, is Tanks Tarot in here? Hi. Welcome. I've never seen you here before. And then we have the Emperor card. You have now reached a level of maturity because now you've been given the wisdom and the understanding of the lessons and the path that you have walked along. So you are going to step within this Emperor energy right now because you've become the master to the understanding of why you were in the energy in the past of this Knight of Cups, always fighting this Knight of Cups energy, because as much as you believed this person was in and out, now you understand why you can master the things with maturity, because here we have feelings, understanding them, and then the maturity to deal with them. In relation to the devil, boundaries. You now understand why boundaries have to be put in place, because the understanding where these feelings of abandonment came from were ones because we didn't understand or have the maturity of what boundaries and the best nature of what boundaries were for. Boundaries are there to serve a purpose. And the wisdom, look, the wisdom, the owl has the wisdom to leave, but they're still caged within. Now we are freeing ourselves with the wisdom because now we understand the boundaries that we have to put in place to be able to move forward. But we understand it from a very higher standpoint, and the higher standpoint is the Emperor. So well done, feminines. This is the next step forward. If you haven't already done this, then this is something I think that you could work on, and you will have a greater understanding of this journey and completing this cycle. Okay. Difficulties within friendships, within connections, has been a reason why, and that's part of these boundaries. So you've had to learn your lesson through difficulties and boundaries. Protecting your heart. So we have 2 3s. Okay. Ace of Swords. Conflict, clarity and freedom. Okay. So what I says to you is to protect you or protect themselves from feeling as though they were hurting you. A divine masculine here could have gone off into third-party situations, created new friendships elsewhere, because the swords that they were, when they were around you, they felt as though they were never good enough. They was always hurting you. The pain and disappointment was too much. It was too much to bear. It was there. The same way you have always protected your heart with swords. Swords can be harsh words. And created this energy that somebody needs to go and get a 3rd cup here. Which created conflict, clarity, and then freedom. You have to face the swords to understand the conflict that's been going on within you. When you face the conflict and the pain and the swords that have always been within this connection of abandonment and issues, clarity, the sword of truth. So what you believed was truth was not. It was conflicting energy, conflicting minds, and you had to have a different perspective to be able to see the truth, to have the freedom of the 3 of Wands to walk away. Once you attain that freedom, the mindset completely changes. But these are lessons that you had to learn. and the lessons that you are now facing. And don't forget, bottom of the deck here, you have the support of those people who are around you. Come on out, please. I'm not even talking. Come on out, please. Shut the door. Thank you very much. You have the support of people. Don't turn it away. By dealing with what you've dealt with, by going through this final part of understanding boundaries and how somebody walks away from you, heals your inner wounds, you could be then coming, yeah, look, the last 2 cups we have. What do we have here? We have the Ace of Cups and we have the 2 of Cups. We have union and emotions. This could be union on an external level. So by you dealing with what's going on within you, I told you it kind of resonates through to your masculine. This could be you unionizing the masculine and feminine in a healthy way and aligning them within yourself to allow your emotions to really be valid and open up for this new cup of love that you want to walk into. But in the same respect, because we're twin flames, it could also mean that once you become aligned to yourself, you align to your twin flame to bring them in for you to have this Ace of Cups beginning. The biggest part and the biggest thing about this connection is understanding that they are part of your journey. They had to catalyst you to this part of you ready to heal yourself. You have now gone through such a cycle, and with the understanding upraised and lifted now to such a higher degree, by getting the support, by understanding your feelings and being open with your feelings, being emotionally open, being emotionally vulnerable, being emotionally available. You have understood the lessons, the understanding of why you had these attachment issues and an unhealthy sense of what love was. You've now come from the viewpoint, or you're not to, and you've now mastered the viewpoint from a higher perspective. You have become the emperor. You have a maturity that understands that when you allow the devil in, the fears of losing somebody, the fears or the devil energy of an outside person in, the boundaries that you put in place restricts them, because without the boundaries to be able to control you and change how you are, you now have put the boundaries in place because you've understood where your non-boundaries came from, which was a past life issue, a brokenness of within yourself. You had to learn this by you continually having to protect your heart, because people always shit on you. People always went off with somebody else, be it in love, be it in friendships, being almost as though your parents could go and favor another child. You always had to protect your heart. You always had to learn this. You always seem to, no matter who you welcome in with this cup, you had to protect yourself, because it was a hurt pain. But what you really was told was the lies of the past protected you. But they didn't protect you. They made you understand that sometimes love isn't fair, and you've now had to release that to understand that by protecting your heart, you blocked yourself heart. You blocked your heart off. You was emotionally unavailable. You wasn't working from your high good, which meant these third-party issues had to come in for you to open up to learn what vulnerability is all about. And we had to find out through pain and conflict. And after the conflicting energy that's come through, and us and the mind of changing that mindset, clarity, the sword of truth finally lands upon us, which frees us from the boundaryless life that we had in the past. and leads us to union of the divine feminine and masculine within or externally, to be able to have a whole new beginning in love. One that is not born from abandonment issues, is not born out of pain, but out of this hopes that we are ready to be the person we should have always been before the pain of old cycles was instilled in us at such a young age. By freeing yourself, you allow something so much better to come in. Okay, let's get some love messages. Let's see what the bottom of the deck is saying first. Okay, you have now opened a portal for new opportunities to come in. The dreamer and the impulsiveness and the emotional withdrawal connected to spontaneity was all out of innocence. It was all out of a place that was wounded energy. This was you in the past. So what you don't see is the reason all this had to happen was because during your childhood, the opportunities that you had was very limited. You now have the opportunity to heal. You see, we created a dream that this person was going to be because of the fantasies that we created as a child. So we acted with on impulse, believing that if we didn't act, we would lose something. We were emotionally withdrawn. We attained and we attracted emotionally withdrawn people. We acted so spontaneously because we had the child of innocence, that with those two rabbits, the innocence of who we were as a child meant we didn't see the bigger picture. But we've had to have the courage to take we had to have the courage and the motivation to take action, which is going to lead us now to new doorways. And the rebirth begins. The rebirth begins. Right. Let's get a couple of love messages. It makes so much sense when it's kind of brought out and explained in that diversity, doesn't it? Exactly. We've just had to heal the pain of what we believed that was put in us by broken parents. Parents that didn't have this ability to understand and see from a viewpoint that we have been going through. You need a nap. You're more than welcome. It's helping heal the understanding. So people, a lot of readings, they will tell you what you need to do and how it connects. But until you understand where these wounds come from and how it relates to the journey you're now on and why your divine masculine does what he does, because he has the same issues. We're always told that they mirror us. How can they mirror us when I'm so loving and they're so distant? You mirror each other because you come from exactly the same place. We are overgiving because we didn't have it. They didn't have it, so they take because they know what overgiving is. Both sides had to face this kind of neglect of an emotional of an emotional standpoint in life, to be able to come together for you both to be able to reflect. I had to reflect my over emotional side and the fact I need, because he didn't have a parent that was around that showed him that kind of vulnerability, soft side. And I had to have a man like him that was really unattainable to come in and out for me to understand that not having something is better than having something that's only half there, when my need was always just to have it regardless. Okay. Let's get a love connection message for the divine feminine that needs to hear. What loving guided messages do we need to hear? What loving guiding messages? Give us some loving guiding messages to help us understand this. Give us some loving guiding messages. Some loving guiding messages. Be open to accept divine guidance in your relationships. By being here and listening to me waffling on, You're opening up the channels to understanding, to allow yourself to really accept the relationships that are coming into you. Be open and accept divine guidance. I don't think she's just messaged me. It's just popped up on my screen. You need to have trust in relationships in order to flourish in them. And I think because of our past issues, we never had that trust, did we? Exactly. So you can be open to it and it can be everything you want. But if the boundaries aren't in place, you are learning them that when they come back in, if they want to come back in, they have to come in their stable self. The dreamer is always here. And this is the thing, you see, look. Being impulsive and running towards the dreamer because an opportunity arose at the right time. You understood that this person could have been quite emotionally withdrawn. The spontaneity, but the innocence in you believing has meant that the rebirth is here. The rebirth. But you wouldn't know that unless you tried. But you having the understanding that that is what you want, being vulnerable to it, seeing the red flags and then pulling back, because you now have an understanding of what is healthy, Rosie. You've put the boundaries in place because you have a maturity to understand that you deserve better. So you might have to feel as though you had to cross where you were, but you're going to get the end result. The end result is still going to come in, because now the conflict of it, the inner conflict, you may have to heal, but the clarity will come in and it will give you freedom. This is going to show you that there's freedom in learning those lessons. Doesn't matter how many times you have to go around. Sometimes you have to go around as many times as you have to go around. Your journey could be quicker or longer than somebody else's because nobody else has the same journey as you. We might be on the same wavelengths, but everybody's journey is different. Sometimes it's best to let go and let the universe work things out in divine timing. There we go. Let me get a couple of these ones. Why not? Why not? Yesterday's, I think we had about an hour and a half. Oh dear. Couldn't read all of that. Then it come off the screen quicker than I could stop it. Exactly. Family are no different. Family are no different to anybody else. In fact, sometimes family is the first people you have to cut off to get your healing, because family are where you learnt these issues, where you learnt these generational cycles. Family were the toxic energy of the people that were around you, that showed you that this was okay and accepted in the beginning. Are you ready? Healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. So as you forgive your parents, you will be able to understand and forgive your person and yourself, because you will understand then that you have many persons within your lifetime that had to come in, that you've had to help. They helped you find who you were by hurting you. It's the same connection. You love it, and the love will be able to be understood with this other person. You have already met the romantic partner that you seek. The person who has been mirroring the issues about yourself and showing you these triggers is the person you're meant to be with, because you're meant to show them their learning. And what, as I just said, the forgiving and learning between each other is why you are connected to this person. As you release and heal the past woes of parents, the past woes of learning all of these issues, and now you're in this freedom place of understanding with boundaries in place, you'll experience more love in your present moments. You're no longer going to fear those triggers coming in. You're no longer have to go anywhere in life feeling as though you're not good enough, because you've understood now that those were just broken issues from childhood dreams, from childhood living, from childhood cycles that were ingrained in you by parents that didn't know any better. And then we have the honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of the holiday time together. Let me get 2 more on this honeymoon. What's this honeymoon all about then? What's this honeymoon, the holiday time? Somebody might want to go on holiday with you. Who knows? Playfulness. New love. Enjoy the bliss of the holiday time. A new person has stirred romantic feelings within you. Getting to know each other as you reveal your innermost selves in each other, your bond will deepen. So you can create a new love in an old connection, or you can just be saying, okay, I'm ready to walk away. This person, as much as they've walked away, they haven't healed. So now I love myself enough to know that I can have this new love. They walked away to love me and allow me to find the love that they could not give me. If that's the case, then the new love for you will be a complete new person. But by you transforming, you can also pull this person in, because they can heal the same way you can. Exactly. The honeymoon vacation. Getting to know each other as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond will deepen. This could be the bond deepening between your divine feminine and your divine masculine within yourself. I told you, look, there's union here. This doesn't always have to be somebody else. Exactly. The new love you feel could be the new love of self that you've never, ever had before. And this is going to give you so much joy. So much joy. You have found who you are. And you love being you. But then this allows you to be free and healed to the point where other people see that, and it becomes very attractive. So let me tell you something. Loving yourself is the first and the biggest magnet for drawing a new love in. It really is. Confidence and self-love is one of the biggest magnets that you can ever have about yourself. Have you ever noticed you get to the point where you really don't want to love, and all of a sudden you can be waiting. It's like waiting at the bus stop, isn't it, for a bus? And the second you realise, no, you know what, sod this, I'm going to walk or phone a taxi. 3 buses come all together. Yeah. It's that song by Sheryl Crow. Isn't it ironic when you're already late and then somebody offers you a free ride when you're already late? It's a good advice that you just can't take. And who would have thought it figures? Just at the point when you don't want it, it's given to you. Because what did I tell you? It isn't about what we want on this journey. The universe gives you what you need, which is very much the same energy as what we were saying yesterday with the divine masculine. They understand what you need and they understand what you want. And they are not going to come in and give you what you want, but they will always come in and give you what you need. The universe is the same. The universe does not give you what you want. So you might manifest, I want to love like this, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah. And then you think, well, I didn't ask for that. No, because you know what? What you wanted wasn't healthy for you. It wasn't what you needed. So the universe gives you a lesson, which is what you need. I wanted a love. I wanted to manifest it in. And then one comes and you go, well, this isn't what I asked for. I asked for a love. That's this, that, and the other. And then you say, actually, that's what I got. But it wasn't what I needed. What I needed was healthy love. What I needed was reciprocal love. But you didn't manifest that. I want love. I want love. I want love. I want this person back. Do you want them back whole? Do you want them back fully correct? How do you want it? Be specific with your manifestations. Be specific with your wording. Be specific with understanding what it is you actually want. And that's how you know. And that's how you'll know. Lady in red is dancing with me, cheek to cheek. There's nobody here. It's just you and me. Exactly. Exactly. So they believe, and some parents believe by walking away they protected you. And when they realize actually walking away was the worst thing I could have done, that's a lesson for them to learn. It's not healthy to walk away in that sense, but in other senses it is. But by ending up and creating those boundaries, you wouldn't have to walk away, would you? And you have to forgive them for who they are now. Exactly. And if it means opening up the door to have a connection with a man that you've probably yearned for your whole life, forgiving them frees you. Thank you for being here, Rebecca. I seen Tank's Tarot in here, didn't I? I've seen some lovely new faces in here, or names, I should say, not faces. New names in here today. Thank you for coming in. Did you find the reading and the description of what was going on before helpful? Does it make you feel more understanding to the journey now? Especially now we've kind of really stepped into the divine masculine's energy yesterday and stepped into, because it's okay doing a divine masculine, divine feminine reading. If you're not understand what the energies actually mean from a deeper perspective, it can be quite flippant. Oh, well, thank you, Tara. I'm glad. I'm glad. It's just a bit of the psychology behind it. And then you can understand that when those wounds show up, you know how to heal them. That is it, Frankie. You have to forgive yourself for being there. And then by doing that and freeing yourself from that, it's easy to free them. And then you release the burdens of 2 weights that you were carrying around. It was really spot on. You're more than welcome, honeybee. It just makes it so much easier when somebody else says it. You can have these thoughts going around in your head, but you don't really know how to pin them down, do you? They always say your twin flame will never ever hurt you. And they do things without realizing that it's going to affect you in that way, because they just didn't have the same viewpoint on life as you did. Oh, well, thank you, Rosie. Hello, thank you, Taurus. Well, I haven't had a very good day today, so I just thought, oh, you know what? I give up. I give up today. Oh, no, but I think we've all had the same kind of diary, haven't we? We've all had the same. This is why, you see, those issues are where we are. If that doesn't tell you alone that you're in the right tribe, in the right collective, doing the right journey at the same time, because we've all got the same wounds and we have to understand them. We can go to many different readers that will say the same words, but I don't understand where this pain comes from. I've had to go to psychology lessons. I've had to go to other forums of podcasts and learning relationship psychologists and narcissistic psychologists to balance out everything, to come to my own understanding of this, to be able to come out to really understand the journey, to then help you, because I wish I had that, but I've been the finder. I'm an Aquarian, so I'm an overthinker. I deep analytically look into things. I have a higher sense of seeing things in patterns and formations and how cycles work from a standpoint of non-emotionalness, because generally as an Aquarian, we're not outsidely, or we don't run from emotions. So we can see things from an unemotional point of view to see the other person's point of view. Oh, yes, Rosie, please shake that tush for me. Can't remember the last time I even went out. It was with my DM last year. Well, I suppose on that note, I will let you all go and thank you for being here. I shall do a collective reading, most likely tomorrow. If I feel up to it, maybe tonight. We'll see. We'll see how the energy goes. So I may do a collective reading tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow. And then it will be like the all signs. But I'm going to do slightly different. Tonight is for you, Lou. Thank you so much, Rosie. The last time I think I went out without my DM, I think I went out and I'd not long come out of the wheelchair. So it was a bit of a weird night. And it's horrible when you like to feel the music. I had some lovely people around me though. They helped me, you know, the guys who work, the bouncers, they always put me like in the VIP area just in case anybody knocks me over. So that they're always really good to me when I go out down. I always go to the same one place. They know who I am. And if I turn up with my sticks or in my wheelchair, I'll leave it outside, and they make sure that I'm safe. They even carry me to the toilet if I needed to. The toilet staff are absolutely amazing there. So I still get a quality night out. I miss the days of when able to have just been like, stand up and shake my own ass. One day maybe. Well, on that note, I'm going to leave you all to it. Have a lovely day. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the 24 likes. If you have an audio like, please like on your way out. I really do appreciate you being here, sharing it with me along the way. So on that note, I'm going to send lots of love, hugs, kisses, and I'll see you soon.